Hello, hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Just I'm just gonna turn you up a bit. That might be easier.
No, that's
Yes.
right.
All
No.
good. All good. How are you? Are you okay?
Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on.
You can't hear me?
Might be me. Let me maybe stop this because I think this might be interfering. How are you?
Hi. Are you okay?
Good. I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and you, and you. Yeah, it's weird that you've met Jay, but like before me, but yeah.
Nice. I love that though about our like industry community. It's like, it's all who you meet and word of mouth and things like that. And it opens up new opportunities and things like that, which I love. So
Yeah, it's totally that. And it's so small when actually you think about it. Like everyone knows everyone.
yeah, I go onto someone's Instagram and I'm like, oh, hold on, 10 people I know. Like, how?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's mad. But I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and doing
No,
this.
not for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excited.
So Stephen, you are a actor, you are a presenter, you are a model. You do lots of things.
I try and multitask and do,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I am a bit of everything. And I've been doing it since like the day I can remember. Always been that person who just I love entertaining. I love being with people, and yeah, from a young age, I was like, I want to be on stage. Like that was a bit of me. And my
Yeah.
mum was an actor as well, and I think I got that from her.
Oh,
So,
cool.
so yeah, I love acting. Don't do so much acting anymore, but I do more modeling and presenting, and my coaching as well, which I just love. I love being able to sort of inspire and uplift people,
Yeah.
especially in our industry, because it can be a challenge. And
It's a very big challenge. I think it's one of the biggest challenges. It's really hard. Yeah, definitely. Can we start more with your acting career and then from that sort of, I'm guessing that's where it kind of began and then obviously it's changed. Obviously now you say you're a presenter and a model and coaching. But yeah, so how did that start for you? Obviously sounds like you wanted to do it from quite a young age by the sounds of it. And yeah, tell me what happened. How did it start?
so I've always wanted to entertain, make people laugh, and I think it was just I don't know, it was just in me from a young age, and it's one of them like at home in the living room, and you tie the blanket around you, and
Of
then you
course.
tin, and your parents are like, "What is this? This is
You will watch this day.
absolutely." I'm on stage, and it began since then, and just making people laugh and making people feel good makes me feel good. And from a young age, mums could see that in me and put me into all the sort of drama classes and weekend acting schools and things like that. And I've just always loved it. And it wasn't until I went to sort of performing in school at sort of college, went to the Miskin Theatre, Northwest Kent, and did 2 years of, full every day, acting
Oh,
classes.
amazing.
And I just realized this is a bit of me.
Mm.
And that's when it all really began. And I realized that, we are all capable of achieving our dreams and doing amazing things. But it all starts with us and it all starts with believing in yourself to do it because the industry is a difficult one. And if you don't believe in yourself, then, no one else, you might not have friends or family that, believe in you. So it all starts with you at the end of the day.
That's so true, actually. Like, I've never actually thought about it that way, that like you do believe at some point you can do it as a career.
Yeah.
Like, that's never actually occurred to me because I think half the time you spend yourself so scared about how I'm going to do it. Is it possible? But actually, there is something in you right from the get-go that goes, yeah, I think I could do this as a career because there's no way people put themselves through drama school auditions and auditions in general and all of that stuff if they didn't actually deep down think that they could do it. So
Yeah.
that's lovely. That's really nice to hear.
You've
And
got
so
to
that was your
haven't
sorry.
you? You've got to be delusional in some way, and it sounds crazy because you're like you're sitting saying to yourself, "Oh, I can do this, and I'm going to, go into an audition with hundreds of other people, and I'm going to be the one that gets it." And you've got to,
Mm.
tell yourself you can. And yes, a lot of the times you might not get it, but you've got to be able to have that, that courage to go, "Okay, the 50th time, I'm going to do it again, and I will do it this time." And so
Yeah.
it's got to be delusional, but it works. It definitely works.
Yeah. So that was your training in Kent. And then did you do any other training or you just launched straight into the industry and you were like, here we go?
I was really lucky because after sort of, I think it was my second year of my performing arts, I got spotted by an agent, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I've got an agent finally.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I started to audition from then. So I was missing a few classes because I was always out auditioning. And for me, a lot of my friends were auditioning to go to drama school. And I kind of thought, right, I would love to go to drama school, but if I'm working already,
Mm.
would I want to stop this to then do maybe 3 years in drama school to then fight for another agent when I've already got one?
Yeah.
So I didn't go to drama school, and I thought, right, I'm going to just keep going and keep working. And I was lucky. I got loads of jobs, and I was, a working actor, while also working at Sainsbury's on the weekends,
Of
sort of,
course. Yeah.
yeah, trying to juggle the two. And it worked for me, and I loved it. And so I just carried on. So I always say to people, who are thinking, do I go drama school or not? It's each their own. If you want to go and you want to hone in on your craft, go for it. Audition. If you get in, fantastic, because it's amazing and you learn so much. But it's not the end of the world if you don't get an agent. You can still go out there and apply. There's loads of online platforms now where you can apply for jobs. You can search for agents and try and sort of reach out to them that way. So there's no right or wrong way. It's just about if you believe in yourself, like go out there and do it. And that's what I did. And I was lucky enough to work as an actor for many years, until I got to a point and I was like, okay, I think I need to switch it up a bit. And that's
Good. No, that's fair. And how did you sort of like navigate that? Because I think there's a lot of people out there that are auditioning for drama school, and there's a lot of requirements nowadays to get into drama school. And so when people don't get in, they're like, oh, that's it for me then. I can't pursue this, weird and wonderful career. And like, I always tell people like that's not the case. Like, just go and do it anyway. And I'm wondering, like, obviously you had your agent, but did you navigate? Like, how was it? Like, just navigating it without that drama school training, really?
It's weird, and I think as well you have a lot of pressure from the people around you. If they're all going to drama school and you're not, you can sometimes feel like a bit of a failure, and you think, oh well, they're going to, this place and that place, and what am I doing?
Mm.
But we live in a time now where we're so lucky. You can reach out to agents online. You can, use different apps to apply for jobs. And at the time when I was growing up, like doing it, there wasn't these apps. There wasn't, I didn't have the resources like we do today.
Mm.
So a part of me felt, oh, am I missing out on drama school? But I've realized at that point, we're all on different paths. And at the end of the day, we're all trying to get to the same destination, to do what we love doing. And for
Yeah.
me, I thought, okay, I've got an agent. Let me just give this a go. And I can always go to drama school at a later point,
Yeah.
I feel like I want to try again, I can.
Mm.
And I just thought, right, I'm going to go for it. And I did. I just applied, auditioned for jobs, and I didn't get many of them. And the jobs I did get, I worked for a few months, and I just loved it. And I learned that way. And I think with any industry as well, if you don't go to university or drama school, you can still learn on the job. And I did. I had auditions where I went in and I was over the top. And, they were like, what are you doing? Can you bring that down? This is for TV. So that was my learning. I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing too much here. So you can learn on the job. You can learn in drama school. There's no right or wrong way. It's just giving it a go, putting yourself out there, and not giving up, which is the main.
I also want to point out as well, like if you go to drama school, like I went to drama school, but it was the 3 years was theatre based training. And so there's still things that even now when I've come out of drama school, I went to drama school about 6 years ago, that I still came out and was like, oh, how do I do that? I was like, I'm still like, I thought I've been trained for 3 years. I should know exactly what I'm doing. And like, you really don't. And like, especially with the TV and film thing, it didn't get, I don't know what other drama school teachers had or, training people had, but like, we didn't receive like that much screen time. I think we had in third year we had a very small section on, how to film your self tapes and stuff like that because that's how the world was going then. And like now it's definitely like that more and more. But like yeah, on like TV and film acting is like a whole nother beast. So I was like, oh God, I'm gonna maybe have to learn on the job or maybe go into some screen acting classes in my spare time to try and brush up that skill. So yeah, I like that. It doesn't give you absolutely everything. Yeah.
And like the 2 years I did was mainly theatre sort of education. So I was stunned and I didn't know what to expect going to the auditions, and it's completely different. But
Mm.
again, it is that, a lot of the time you're learning on the job, and you're learning about what other people are doing on set as well. Sometimes you go, what are they doing? And then, it's all about just pushing yourself into every kind of experience you can and being a sponge and absorbing everything and learning on the go. Uh,
Yeah.
and you find different directors work differently as well. So sometimes you might be on a project and you think, oh, I've mastered the skill of acting. And then you work on another project and that director's like, hey, what are you doing? No.
Yeah.
So it's being adaptable. It's being able to sort of free flow and just always, you're always learning with this. And that's beautiful as well. It keeps things interesting and fun, and your brain's always learning, which is important for us, as human beings, to never stop learning. So yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously you reached a point where you thought maybe it's maybe time to take a little bit of time out from the acting or maybe just pause it for a bit. What sort of made you come to that conclusion?
So I think I was in about 22, 23, and I think I was still living at home. And I just got to a point where I was finding it hard doing so many different jobs. So I think, working at a call center, an actor's call center, which were great because they allowed me to sort of take time off if a job came up. But
Mm.
it was trying to balance everything and not having stability in my life. And at that point, I really wanted to move out and have my own place, and buy my own place essentially. And I just felt I couldn't do that at the time.
Yeah.
I was kind of falling out of love with acting. And at that point, I was starting to realize, okay, maybe it's not acting what I love. Maybe it's presenting. Maybe it's entertaining. Maybe it's modeling, and that's when I was starting to, think outside the box slightly.
Mm.
But at that point, I thought, right, I've got to retire, and pack it in, and so I did, and I started looking into different industries, and I was looking at becoming a primary school teacher, and then eventually I did that for a few years, like as a TA, just seeing if it was for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was difficult because obviously, when you've been doing something your whole life and loving it, to give it up, it is hard. But
Mm.
what I love about our industry is, even if you decide to have a break, you can always go back at any age.
Yeah.
There's no, okay, you've stopped acting at this age, you can't go back. You see actors making it in their 40s, 50s, 60s,
Mm.
well-known actors, and you're like, oh, or they've either been trying for years and they finally break it, or
Yeah.
they've stopped, or they've just started at an older age, a mature age, and that's the beauty of it. So I say to people, if you've lost the passion, have a break, do something different,
Yeah. It's not going anywhere.
isn't
No.
going anywhere, and then spark that joy again. So when you come back, you come in with a fresh mindset, and you really give it your all that second time round or third time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I went to a casting workshop not, well, oh, maybe it's last year. And I met this lady and she was like, oh, I said, like, what have you, because there was like a meet and greet to start with before we got going with the scenes. And I said, oh, what sort of brought you here and stuff like that. And she was like, well, actually, I got divorced. I've retired and I was a nurse for God knows how long. And now I want to try and be an actor. And she was like, I've literally just done something for, what did she say? It was like an ITV drama or something. And I was like, good for you. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. And I think creatives we're very special because we're so adaptable and we're so used to thinking on our feet or picking up new skills or constantly finding out things about how to progress that if you actually don't want to do acting anymore, you're very good at sourcing out something else for you to do. Like we're very good like that. Like if you just go, like my brother's always like, you're doing a different job now, different day job. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I just got bored of the other one, so I thought I'll pick this up. And they were like, yeah, but how have you gone to the interview and just like blagged your way into this thing? And I was like, we're amazing bullshitters,
Yeah.
okay? Like, we're amazing. And what's good is that we put the work in because we're hard workers.
We do, and
Yeah,
I love that about us, and that's
yeah,
what I love also about being on set with other creatives, is because you can start a job, and you literally feel like you know everyone, and they're your family by day one. And I don't
mm,
think any other industry where you can start a job day one, and by the end of it, you're like, I feel like I've known you forever. What?
yeah.
It's amazing, and I just think it's the way we are as creatives,
Mm,
that able to make friends and to find different opportunities. I think we're incredible, and I love
yeah.
us, absolutely love it.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about presenting then. So how did that start and where are you at now?
So, lockdown happened for all of us,
Ugh.
and I've been in a corporate job for many years, and it got to 2020, and I was on furlough for I think 9 weeks or so. So I had a lot of time to think, and I was like, okay, is this what I want to do forever? Like, I love my job, I work in the furniture industry. Again, it's kind of creative as well. Um, Working on amazing projects, but I thought, is this all I want to do, or am I missing out on other amazing, opportunities and doing what I love deep down? So for me, it was a case of thinking, spending a lot of time on my own, and I decided, right, I want to get back into it. I want to get back into, in front of the camera, and I did, and I jumped onto Star Now at the time. And I was like, right, I'm going to start applying for some jobs. And it all started from there. And all of a sudden, I was doing a pilot for Channel 4, and I was working on another film set, potential, a pilot for Netflix. And then I was getting back into presenting, applying for different jobs on Star Now and getting them. And I was like, oh my God, I'm loving this. And I was able to do it
Mm.
alongside my full-time job. And I just got the spark back and the passion back
Mm.
started from them. And yeah, it's been an incredible process, which is why I truly believe that even if you step out of the game for a few years, you can always come back. And sometimes coming back for the second time round, you'll
Mm.
know what you want more, and you're able to sort of hit that with more passion and more dedication and more focus as well. Because, you know, I've no time to play around now. Now I'm like, right, I really want this, and now I'm going to
Mm.
go. So yeah, it's been a journey, but an absolutely incredible journey.
I'm wondering how these applications work for a presenter. Like, do you audition? Like,
Yeah.
how does that work?
So auditioning for a presenter is what I love about our digital age now is that I apply for jobs myself and I can see a job and I like what they're offering in terms of the price and what it's about,
Yeah.
and I hit apply, and then a lot of the times they want you to sort of submit an audition tape, which I do.
Okay.
I might put on my presenter jacket, blazer, or
Yeah.
get into the character.
Vibe, yeah.
And I think it's the same with auditions. If whatever you're trying to portray, get into the character. Dress like that person, that character. And that's what I do is presenting, and I will. They might sometimes give you a sort of some dialogue to read, and
Mm.
read that. And again, there's loads of apps out there, like I think there's a teleprompter app or something where you can put the script on, and read from that and present. And they just want to see your character. They just want to see how you are and your personality. And it's just about
Yeah.
who you are, being yourself. And that's the best thing you can do as a presenter is to show your light and be yourself, because you're
Mm.
not trying to, play a character and have to, transform into this character, but you're you as a presenter. And that's what I loved. I was like, oh, I get to be me. I just get to
Mm.
have fun. And that's what I love about presenting. So it's a great, if if anyone's thinking of doing it, you can, it's possible, and just be yourself and let your light shine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that you said that because I think most actors like to, when we're asked to be ourselves, sometimes we find that really hard, like to just be ourselves. Also, we're like, oh, but I can not necessarily hide behind a character, but it's easier to present other choices when you're pretending to be somebody else. And so, yeah, that's interesting that you found that, oh, I actually get to be myself, and that's really nice, because I reckon some actors might be like, oh, like I have to, like when I first started podcasting, I was like, I just don't know how to be. I was like, how do I make people engage or listen and stuff like that? And yeah, my friend was like, well, we're just talking to our friend Grace. And I was there like, I know, but that is that enough? Like, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Is that enough type thing to make people interested? So yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's hard as well. And I think in order to present as well, to be yourself, you have to be truly authentic. And I think when so I'm gay and I came out at a really late age. I came out at 28 to my family, but to everyone else, friends, like they knew I was gay from, early 20s sort of thing when
Mm.
I started to accept it. And I had a lot of issues to deal with, like my faith, growing up as a Christian and trying to battle that. So I
Mm.
think once I fully got to a point where I was like, right, I'm gay, okay, I'm black, okay,
Mm.
loving who I truly am, that's when I was like, right, I can now truly show up and be myself. And when I'm presenting, I can be truly me, accepted who I was, accepted my, my blackness, my queerness, that's when things started to change for me. So I always say you've got to really come to terms with who you are in whatever way that is. If you're curvy, love it, embrace it. I've got so many curvy friends, and I'm like, love it, and until they do, that's when they start to shine. But if you're trying to cover who you are or hide who your sexuality or your color or in any way, that's what stops you from shining in this world. So it's
Mm.
about being authentic and yeah, being yourself. But it takes time, and everyone's on a journey, and it
Mm.
takes time to kind of get to know your real self.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's lovely. So you talk a little bit, I've seen on your obviously your coaching side that you talk a lot about uh manifestation.
Mhm.
Um, and what's interesting about your sort of view, I think, on it is that when I think of manifestation, I think of a very spiritual manifestation, and you actually believe that it's quite scientific. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been love sort of through my coaching is teaching and showing people it's not all woo woo. We've been, I think, many years it's, you hear manifestations like, oh, you woo woo,
Mm.
it's not, it's scientific, it's fact, it's backed by science. And it's all to do with our brains at the end of the day. And that's what I love. And I've been over the last few years been doing so much research on our brains and finding out that 95% of our thoughts, we have the same thoughts every single day. So we always run on autopilot. So
Okay.
it's about breaking those old thoughts. And a lot of the time it could be, self-sabotage thoughts like, oh, I'm not good enough, or, if I've not got that audition, or I've not got that job, or I can't find love, I'm not worthy enough. But it's breaking those old thoughts and rewiring our brains.
Mm.
And it's all to do with like our neuro pathways, and our brains have something called neuroplasticity. And when we start to say to ourselves, which I believe in, like affirmations every day, saying to yourself, I'm loved, I'm good, I'm amazing, I'm happy. You say these things to yourself every day. It might sound a bit crazy, but after a while, you start to rewire our neuro pathways, and those connections get stronger and stronger. And then you start to see in the world, actually, I am good, I am amazing. Oh, I might have not got that job, but don't worry, a better job's coming for me.
Mm.
And it's all about sort of, you hear that saying, looking at the glass half empty or half full. But when you change your mind, you will start to see the world in a better way, and you start to find those opportunities. Because if you're in a negative mindset, a lot, and it's happened to me when I've been, maybe down and depressed and anxious, I miss out on opportunities.
Mm.
Last year, really quickly, I was having to operate an operation on my heart due to like years of anxiety and stress. And I finally had the operation. I was like going through the healing process. But at that point, I was feeling a bit down and thinking, oh, what am I doing in my life? Am I still on the right path? And it wasn't until I was like, right, Stephen, you've got to change your thinking, because if you don't, you're going to go into this spiral and get worse. So I decided to go out my dog, and I was like, right, I'm going to head out, and I'm going to be like, one step at a time, start telling myself I'm good. I can do this.
Mm.
And it was through that I then ended up seeing a message on my phone from a casting agent. And I truly believe if I was still in that negative mindset, I would have missed out on that message, because it was that message that led me to have an audition. And through loads of audition processes, it was a job working for Apple, on their latest commercial. And I
Amazing.
was flown out last year to Canada to film for an Apple commercial. And I was like, wow. So that happened because that day I changed my mindset, and I was like, right, good things are going to come. I believe in myself. And I saw that message. And that message was like on a time frame. They were like, if you don't get back to us within, X amount of time, you're going to miss out. So it all starts with us and our brains. And manifestation isn't woo-woo, it's backed by science. It's all to do with just changing our mindset and seeing opportunities and believing in ourselves. And as creators, we really do have to believe in ourselves, because sometimes no one else will back you. You've got to be delusional and sort of go for it. So I absolutely love it. And I've been coaching, hundreds of people over the last year, and seeing how they change their lives just through changing their mindset.
Yeah. And how does sort of your like thought sort of first session go with a client? Are they fully accepting of this idea, or are they always like, I'm not sure?
Yeah, so a lot of the times people come in sort of a bit apprehensive, and thinking, okay, I've seen that you've worked with other people and you've been able to help them, but how are you going to help me?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's helping people find love. It's helping people find that dream job, whether it's in the entertainment industry or whether it's just finding a corporate job.
Yeah.
But I always say, come in, let's have a chat, let's find out what you're about. And through just chatting and making people realize that actually we all have the ability to do amazing things in our lives, but it all starts with us. So whether it's finding love, whether it's finding that job or whatever it is, if you don't believe you're going to be that incredible actor or that incredible partner, then it's never going to happen. And it's just facts. It won't happen. If you're an actor and you go into every audition thinking this isn't for me, well, then it's not going to be for
Mm.
you. You have to believe in yourself. And it's through that, like I said, opportunities come. You start hanging around with like-minded people, you start seeing things in a positive light, and that's when your life starts to change. But it does take a step at a time and a day at a time. And
Yeah.
people don't look at the big picture because it can be overwhelming. But if you just think, what can I do today? Write a list. Can I tick one thing off my list that would get me closer to my dream?
Mm.
All it is, it starts with you and believing in yourself and anything, and I do mean that anything is possible.
Yeah. How would you sort of give your advice maybe towards someone who's, yeah, let's say with acting or something like that? Like, um, yeah, how would that sort of go if you're sort of giving your advice towards an actor?
So I'd say if you're in the creative world, you obviously love it, but it's going to come with a lot of stress, anxiety, and pressure because
Mm.
you're not going to get every job you apply for. But if you write down what you want. And it does start with number one, knowing what you want. If you know what you want and you think, right, I want to be this amazing actor, what do I need to do? So, first of all, write a list. Is it, can you do more training? Like, you may have been trained in more of a theatre way, but if you want to do more TV, there's loads of training out there. Maybe it's going for a training course that you can do. So when you're applying for that, auditioning for that job, you're going to get it because you know all the terms, you know what to do. So having that list of or a vision board or a list of going, right, if I want to be the best presenter, the best actor, or I want this job, what can I do? And every day doing just a little bit towards it because luck doesn't just happen. The reason why luck happens is because you're prepared. So when an opportunity comes and you've got that job, it's because you did all the work prior. So it's not a case of waking up every day and go, right, I hope I'm going to be lucky today and do nothing. It's about going, no, what can I do? Can I learn some scripts? Can I watch a theatre show or a play that's going to inspire me? So when that time comes, you are ready and you are prepared to master that job because you've done the work before. So I always say, do what you can now. So when your luck and your opportunity comes, you are ready. Uh,
Mm.
and just don't give up because it is hard. But if you have faith in yourself, anything is possible. It really is.
No, that's great. That's great. Um, so I've also seen as well that you've had like some myths about manifestation, and let's go through some of those because they looked fun. I was like, okay.
So a lot of people think manifestation is again woo-woo, or they'll say, "Well, I've been manifesting things, but it's not come true," and it's a case of with manifestation, there's no time frame. So sometimes I manifest things instantly. So I'm quite good at manifesting free lunch or free things. And today I'm going to get a free lunch or today I'm going to get something for free. And I always do. And again,
Mm.
because I'm manifesting it, I'm looking out for these opportunities. So
Mm.
when I see a free, I'm at the station and they're handing out free chocolate bars. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got it. So it's that myth of like, well, it doesn't work and it won't happen for you. It will happen for you. You've just got to change that mindset and realize that if you're looking for these opportunities, they will come.
Mm.
Um, and and yeah, it's fascinating what we all think about manifestation.
Well, I remember reading the, what was it? I remember reading The Secret,
Yes, yes. How did you
which, which, like again, I understand there's some truths in it. Like there's some pinches of salt that I'm like, okay, fine. But there were just some things in it that I just thought that's just not helpful. Like there was just moments of I think there was an example of like it was something to do with like if you feel that you're overweight or you want to change how you look and stuff like that, if you have any negative thoughts, you're going to put weight on type thing. And I was like, okay, like I don't know if instantly like having a negative like and it also made this big I think song and dance of you can't have any negative thoughts because if you have any negative thoughts they're instantly going to go out into the universe and like they're going to happen to you and I thought that's not quite true.
And I think that we're human and we're all on this, all on our journeys, and there's always going to be times where you have negative, self-doubt,
Yeah,
negative
you can't change that unfortunately.
on. And the amount of times in my life where I've, doubted myself or thought, oh, I can't do this, and it happens all the time. We're human, you might have a bad night's sleep, or the kids wake you up, or you just had a stressful day at work, and then you get home and you think, oh my God, I am not a great parent, or I'm not a great, actor, or whatever it is. And but it won't stop you from reaching your dreams or becoming a great parent or doing what you want in life. It doesn't, and that is a massive myth.
Mm,
um However, sometimes it can just, by having that self-talk, it can maybe delay where you want to go. And that's
mm,
the difference, because I notice in my life, the minute I'm like vibrating and feeling great, and I spot so many amazing opportunities, and those opportunities get me those dream jobs because I'm speaking positive affirmations into my life. But if I
mm,
wake up one day and I'm, thinking, oh, Stephen, I'm not feeling great today. I feel absolute crap. I'm really bad. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate myself. Then I'm shutting down, which means
mm,
I could miss out on certain opportunities. It doesn't mean I'm not going to get where I'm going, my
mm,
destination. It just means you're slightly diverted. Uh,
mm.
it's like Google Maps. If you want to go somewhere in your car and you put in your destination in Google Maps, sometimes you might take the wrong road, but Google Maps recalculates. You still
Yeah.
go and get to your destination. It just might take you a little bit longer. Uh,
Mm,
so you never in your car and go, oh damn, I missed a turn. I'm never going to get there. You
mm,
don't think like that. You think, oh, it's fine. It recalculates. And that's the same with our mind. If you're going through a difficult time, and I've dealt with anxiety and depression, it's something I'm always trying to battle and to always overcome, because life is life and it's full of ups and downs. But it's about going, okay, I feel my feelings today. I'm not feeling great. I'm going to sit with these feelings, but know that tomorrow's another day, and I'm going to get up and try again tomorrow. And it might not happen tomorrow. It might be the third day, the fourth day, but knowing that, okay, I feel like this today, and it's okay to feel like this.
mm,
But no, it's not going to stop you from achieving and manifesting your wildest dreams. So
mm.
yeah, you just got to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm wondering because you have such a nice, like healthy, I think, outlook on the industry. And obviously you're in also in the modeling industry as well. And I fear that that might be quite hard on the whole, self-image and things like that from time to time. And I wonder how you navigate that as well, because, it's all about how you look really in the modeling industry, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's difficult. The modern industry is I think it's very harsh, because as an actor you can sort of change the way you look slightly, through makeup and costume, and play this character. But with modeling, it is about your looks.
Mm,
If you're not getting a job, you can criticize yourself and think, oh wow, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not slim enough, I'm not muscular enough. And I had that in the early days of acting, where I thought, I don't look like your typical model. And I've always, in my mind, I've always thought, oh, I'm not that typical model. But once I overcame that, and I thought, actually, no, who's to say that? There's lots of jobs out there where they're looking for a guy of my height, of my build, and
mm,
got those jobs. And I'm on set with other actors or models who look that maybe that typical model, which you think. But I think, no, I'm here and I've got the job, and that
yeah.
I'm here for a reason. So
Mm,
it is, again, it comes back to believing in yourself. And nowadays, I think we're really, it's changing a lot, because you're seeing models on posters and adverts and all of that. different shapes and sizes, different colors, and we're moving forward, which is great. There's still a lot of hard work to do.
Mm.
We're moving in the right direction. And I say to anyone now, I say now's the time. If you want to be a model or want to be anything, now is the time to do it because maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been on screen as much. But now, through change and through, having these open conversations, I'm able to apply for jobs and get them. And so whether you're, plus size, whether you think you're too slim, whether you don't think you're good looking enough, they're now looking for all types of people because as a world, we represent we look different, and it's about representing lots of different people of all shapes and sizes. So now's the opportunity to go for it. If you
Yeah. Yeah. And what's a like a typical model casting like? What's that like?
So a lot of mine now is online, which is
Okay.
great.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think once you get to if you're doing runway and things like that, then you do go in.
Mm.
You'll walk up and down, and they'll see you walk. Again, you're up against hundreds of other models, and it can be difficult. But again, you've just got to be you and be authentic and show yourself because a lot of the times it's when you get these jobs, it's about, oh, they see something in you and they go, oh, this person has a bit of a spark. Maybe I wouldn't have gone for this person, but I like their energy. I like what they're showing me. And it can change a casting director's opinion of you just by you being yourself and showing your light.
Mm.
And we're all different. I think that's why as human beings, it's amazing. There's no one else like us. And if you try and be like someone else, you're probably not going to get the job because you're trying to portray that person. But if you are yourself and you shine your light, then no one else has seen that light before. So when they see you and you show up as you, that's when people go, oh, hold on. Okay,
Mm.
who's this person? Let
Mm.
me reach out. Let me, give this person a try. And I see it all the time in performers and actors, models, people going for a job, show who you are, and that's when things change for you.
So describe this to me like technically as if because I've never seen it. So how are you doing this online? How does that work?
Okay, so with a lot of these modeling jobs, it's submitting photos. So it's
Okay.
I've taken some, photos, lots of different jobs. I collect all the photos and I have an album of them.
Yeah.
So they can see my photos and go through it themselves.
Hmm.
Sometimes they just want a little self-tape as well about who you are, where
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
what you do, just to get a sense of, who you are. And then it's just submitting that. So it's fantastic because it means I can be anywhere in the world and submit lots of auditions for modeling. And then when you get it, I can fly back or, make time for that. So it's great. Again, we live in a day and age where we can multitask. You can have
Yeah.
a job and still, apply for, auditions without having to sort of leave your home and go there for 5 minutes to not have a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. And so do you rely more like on a modeling agency or do you find work yourself or yeah.
So I'm really lucky. I find all my work myself,
Mm.
only because I'm working on so many different projects. If I had an agent, I not tooting my own horn, but I could be too busy, and then it would
Mm.
take me away from my other projects and jobs. So when
Yeah,
I
you can manage your time.
That's it. And that's why I say, like, we live in a time now where you can do whatever you want to do. I can literally go online, find jobs, go, that's perfect. That sounds great. Love that. The price of that, what they're offering, what the job is, apply, submit an audition tape, submit my photos. And then you wait to hear back and then, yeah, you get the job.
Yeah. Is it quite similar to the acting industry? Do you not always hear back or
Absolutely. Modeling, presenting, acting, I feel like they're all the same. You apply for loads of jobs and you don't always hear back. But I do think it's a numbers game. I think the more you apply, the more chances you have of getting something. So I have a few friends that are voiceover, like they do voiceover. And
Yeah.
and again I say, well, how many jobs have you applied today? And they go, I've only applied for one this week. Well, if you apply for that one job and you don't get it, that number one's going to make you feel like crap because you haven't.
Yeah. Mm.
If you apply for 20 jobs that week, you're more likely to get a job. That's going to make you feel good and you're going to keep that process going. So it's a numbers game. The more you apply, the more you get yourself out there, the more you network. Our industry is all about who you know as well. So working with different people on and off camera can lead to other opportunities as well. So it's really about being yourself, being kind. You hear of people sort of getting to the top of the industry and being, nasty. And I think you've got to our industry is so close and everyone sort of knows everyone. So it's about being a good person,
Yeah.
showing up and doing what you can that day because the industry is small and you're more likely to get another job because someone knows you sometimes.
Mm.
I've had loads of jobs where I've been reused again as a model because that casting agent goes, wow, we loved you on that set the other week.
Mm.
We want to use you again. This new opportunity's come about. Can I put you forward or can we use you? But that's because I've always been, I truly believe in being nice to the runner or to the director, whoever it
Mm.
is
Yeah.
nice to everyone, and it does make a difference.
Yeah, and also on that point as well, like genuinely supporting one another. Like that's a really big thing. Like whatever venture you start out doing, I've had people right from the beginning, like even the podcast, like right from the beginning, who have been like, "Oh, Grace, you're doing so well." I've never forgotten those people, like for 1 second. I have one girl, bless her, she messages me like constantly, and she's a really good friend, and like she actually is in America right now, but like don't see her that often and stuff, but she has constantly been like, I love this, or really like very specific things. And I think when you show genuine interest in people and actually genuinely support other people, people really don't forget that and they bring you on their journey with them and they go, do you know who exactly is who's great and I really would love to work with is this person that's been really genuinely happy for me the whole time as well, rather than just going, and even on like the small stuff as well as the big stuff, like you've got a lot of people that will say, I mean, it's great, say well done on the big stuff as well, obviously, but like there just are some very special people that go, oh yeah, I was with you right from the start. And like honestly, never forget those people at all.
Yeah. And I think it's already hard to sort of believe in yourself sometimes. And
Mm.
I always as well have found when I've started a new venture and those friends who have reached out and said, "Oh my God, Stephen, I love what you're doing, well done." That has stuck with me. And I've been like, thank you, because I needed that today. I was struggling and
Mm.
I didn't believe in myself. And I just needed that little self-talk from you.
Yeah.
And I say to anyone who's not an actor or not in the industry, if you know someone that is, and you're seeing this, please support them.
Yeah.
Please, that like on their Instagram account, that comment, like it all helps with the algorithm. And you don't know what it's doing to that person who's
Yeah.
trying to push themselves out there. It makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
So to support them,
And also, it's one like at the end of the day, like it's
it,
one touch of a button. Like help them out.
yeah, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It blows my mind because I'm always trying to support people, not in our industry, but if I see someone out there doing something, whether it's online
Mm.
or offline, I'm
Yeah.
always like, well done, you're starting a business, amazing. Like go
Yeah.
and do it. So it does stun me sometimes when I see you don't always get that support back or you don't, and it's like, but it doesn't hurt to say well
Yeah.
done or
And it's very rare, actually, to get that genuine support from people is very rare. And I think that makes you as a creative or whatever you're doing stand out massively because people are genuinely touched by it because they're like, oh, like,
yeah.
thank you so much, like type thing. But yeah, amazing. So my last question is, what advice would you give to any creative?
So my advice to any creative would be number one, you need to have the passion and you need to have the passion for it. If you have the passion, you can do anything. And once the passion's there and the fire's in your soul, then my advice would be to keep going. And I know this, we sometimes talk about having a plan B. It's good to have plan B, but sometimes that can derail you from what you really want. Because if you're always thinking in your mind, well, I'll do this audition today, or I'll apply for this job, but if I don't get it, I'll just do something else. I think if you're like, this is all I ever want, and I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm going to give everything in my soul to make this happen,
Mm.
9 times out of 10, it does happen, like it always does. Because if you are applying for those jobs or auditioning, and you are doing it and you are working at your craft, you will get there.
Mm.
And if I would say if you don't get it, it wasn't meant for you. Because the amount of jobs I've not got in the past. And I look back now and I think I am so glad I didn't get that. Because
Mm.
if I had that job, it would have stopped me getting this other job, which led to this other job, which led to this other job. So always look at life that if I didn't get it, it wasn't meant for me. But my advice would be never give up. And as long as you are doing a tiny bit every single day to achieve your dreams, you will get it. But if you're not working at it and you're not trying and you're not passionate, it's just not going to work. So
Mm.
as long as you keep at it every day and keep chipping away a day at a time,
Mm.
believe me, I see so many actors and so many people that have made it in different industries. You know, it may have taken them 10 years. I've got friends that, 10, 16 years on, they're now breaking in the industry. And I'm now going, oh my gosh, you
Mm.
are on the big screen. You are on the West End because
Mm.
you didn't give up.
Yeah.
So it just takes not giving up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing. It's been great.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And I'm so glad I had a chance to talk to you because I honestly, I love what you're doing. I love what your platform's all about. And
Mm.
it brings me joy to see what you're doing and having these in-depth conversations with other actors, performers, because it's knowledge. Knowledge is power at the end of the day. And hearing someone else's experience then can help, it's helped me go, oh, wow, that's like that light bulb moment. Oh, I didn't think of that. Thank you. So thank you for sharing this and putting this out there because it's been amazing.